Shen Yue's emotional breakdown on set. Was it because of Dylan? The scene was supposed to be routine, a simple, take a short dialogue exchange under the autumn trees with golden leaves falling as if to bless the moment, a touch of melancholy, a glance of longing that was all the script called for, but what unfolded on set left the entire crew frozen in disbelief. Shen Yue stood opposite her co-star reciting lines like she had 1,000 times before, but something was off. Her voice cracked at the end of a sentence, her breath trembled. The director paused and asked if she needed a moment, but she insisted she was fine. The camera rolled again, but this time midway through her line her voice gave out completely. She turned her face away, tears spilled over, and her body shook from silent sobs. The set went silent. Everyone exchanged glances. Some were confused, others looked heartbroken. The assistant director quietly signaled the crew to stop filming, without saying a word. A stylist rushed over with a warm jacket. Shen Yue just sat down on the stone bench that had been part of the scene and covered her face with her hands. Someone in the crew started recording quietly, not for gossip, but because they felt something real and fragile was unfolding. It felt like history, a breaking point. The footage leaked within 24 hours, and what fans saw stunned them. Shen Yue sobbing uncontrollably on set, completely unfiltered. The raw emotion in her eyes was unmistakable. Speculation flooded the internet. Was it burnout, stress? Was she overwhelmed? Or was it something deeper and more personal? Soon rumors started flying. There had been whispers that Shen Yue and Dylan Wang had recently reunited in private, a quiet dinner, a long talk away from cameras and contracts. No one confirmed it, but the timing was suspicious. A fan account posted a photo that allegedly showed Dylan's car parked near Shen Yue's residence, just days before the shoot. And now here, she was unable to finish a simple scene, breaking down in front of the cameras. The comment section became a war zone. Some said Dylan had promised something and broken it. Others insisted Shen Yue had always loved him quietly and that the pressure finally cracked her. But there was one detail in the leaked footage that no one could ignore. A single phrase Shen Yue whispered under her breath, barely audible, as she wiped her face. "I cannot pretend anymore." That sentence replayed on every fan page, every analysis video, every emotional tweet about the moment. I cannot pretend anymore. Was it about the scene? Was it about the character? Or was it about something much more personal? An insider from the makeup team anonymously told a blog that Shen Yue had shown up to set already emotional. She had barely eaten that day. She was staring at her phone every few minutes, and during her touch-up, she had said something cryptic. Some people can erase years with just one call. That one quote added fuel to the fire. Was Dylan the call? Was there a promise that went wrong? Was there a confession that came too late? Production was temporarily halted. The director issued a statement calling the incident a moment of vulnerability and human depth and asked for privacy for the cast. But fans could not look away. Theories began to circulate about a scene Dylan and Shen Yue were supposed to film together next month. Some believed it was a romantic flashback. Others said it would never happen now. Shen Yue unfollowed Dylan on social media that week, and then refollowed him 2 days later. Every move analyzed, every gesture scrutinized. Her agency remained silent, but one staff member leaked a conversation Shen Yue had backstage, where she reportedly said, "I thought I had moved on, but my heart has a terrible memory." Another fan noticed that Dylan posted a cryptic message on his story with only one word: always. No photo, no context, just that word. It was enough to send fans spiraling. Back on set, the mood changed completely. The crew grew protective of Shen Yue, offering quiet support and adjusting schedules so she could rest. Some days she showed up with determination, eyes puffy, but smile firm. Other days, she disappeared from the trailers for long stretches, no one knowing where she went. Dylan sent a bouquet of wildflowers to the set with no name attached, but everyone knew. Wildflowers were Shen Yue's favorite. Some said she kept them in her dressing room, others said she threw them in the trash. No one could confirm which story was true. Weeks later, another emotional scene was filmed, and this time, Shen Yue completed it in a single take. Her eyes were hollow but powerful, her voice steady but laced with pain. The director applauded, but she walked off set without saying a word. That night, another video leaked Shen Yue sitting in her car outside the set alone, her hand resting on the steering wheel, her eyes closed as though remembering something or someone. The headlights of another car pulled up behind her. Some say it was Dylan, some say it was just a crew member. But then the video cuts and fans are left with nothing but questions. What really happened that day? Who made her cry? What was said before the camera rolled? Who does she think about when the lines fade and the lights go out? The answers may never be clear, but what is certain is this. Shen Yue is not just an actress. She is a woman carrying a storm in silence, and that storm finally cracked the surface. And for a brief moment, the entire world saw her not as a character, not as a celebrity, but as a human being. And that is what made it unforgettable. The crew stood frozen. Silence had fallen across the set like a heavy blanket. Shen Yue had locked herself in her dressing room, and no one dared approach the door. Only a muffled sound was heard every few seconds. It was not a scream. It was not a sob. It was a quiet whimper that sounded like a person trying to hold together pieces of themselves that kept falling apart. Outside her door, her assistant paced nervously. She had never seen Shen Yue like this. Not even during her early years when the pressure had nearly broken her. This was different. This was not about fame or camera angles. This was about Dylan. And everyone knew it. Just hours before, Shen Yue had walked onto set holding her phone tightly. Her expression unreadable. The director had asked her twice if she was ready, and she had nodded without looking up. The scene was simple. A quiet dinner. No dialogue. Just glances. But the moment the cameras started rolling, her hand trembled. Her face contorted. And then, without warning, she dropped the wine glass from her hand and collapsed to the floor. Real tears followed. Not part of the script. Not part of the plan. Someone yelled to cut. Crew rushed forward. The sound guy dropped his boom mic and ran with a towel. But Shen Yue pushed them all away. She did not want help. She wanted silence. She wanted the world to stop spinning just long enough for her to breathe again. A leaked video from the set showed her curled up against the wall behind the kitchen prop, her head buried in her knees. She whispered something no one could quite hear. But when the clip hit the internet, lip readers said she repeated the same words over and over. He promised me. He promised me. He promised me. The internet exploded. Was it Dylan she meant? Was it a different man? Or was it something more complex? A betrayal too personal to share. The night before, Dylan Wang had been seen leaving a music studio close to the set. His face was tired, his hands stuffed deep into his pockets. When paparazzi asked him about Shen Yue, he said nothing, not even a shake of his head. Just silence. That silence spoke louder than any denial. Back on set, the director decided to halt production. Shen Yue remained inside her room for over 3 hours. A production assistant brought in hot tea, but it sat untouched on the table. Her assistant finally entered quietly and sat beside her. Shen Yue did not lift her head. She only asked one question. Did he call? The assistant could not answer. Dylan had not called. Another crew member leaked audio from inside the dressing room. Shen Yue was heard asking questions as if to herself. What did I do wrong? Why does he hate me? Why didn't he say goodbye? And then silence again. A suffocating kind of silence that felt like grief. Fans began analyzing every detail. The last time Dylan and Shen Yue had posted together was over 6 months ago. A photo shoot where they stood side by side but never touched. At the time, it seemed normal. Now, it felt like foreshadowing. A major entertainment blogger claimed that Shen Yue had found out about Dylan's late-night call with another actress. Speculation ran wild. Was it Bai Lu? Was it someone else? But nothing was confirmed. All that was real were Shen Yue's tears and the fragments of pain she no longer hid from the cameras. Later that week, Shen Yue returned to set. She wore sunglasses even indoors. She avoided everyone, even the director. She shot her scenes in one take and left without saying goodbye. A producer noted that she had never acted better. Her pain had made her brilliant. And that was the saddest part of all. Behind closed doors, a scriptwriter admitted that they were rewriting parts of the story to reflect the emotional tension between the characters. Not because it was planned, but because the truth was bleeding through the fiction. The audience could feel it. Every line, every glance, every pause. And still, Dylan said nothing. He posted a single black and white photo of the ocean. No caption. No explanation. But fans noticed one strange detail. A small bracelet lying near the edge of the shore. The same bracelet Shen Yue had worn in a behind-the-scenes photo months ago. What did it mean? Was it his apology? Or was it a final farewell? The cast was scheduled to attend a press conference the following weekend. Rumors swirled about Shen Yue pulling out. But she showed up, dressed in pale blue. Her face calm. But her voice cracked once when a reporter asked about working with Dylan. She smiled politely, then whispered something only the closest microphones caught. We all play our parts. Some of us forget which ones are real. The comment went viral within minutes. And Dylan, he arrived late. He looked exhausted. But when he sat down beside Shen Yue on the panel, something shifted. For one brief moment, their hands brushed under the table. No one moved. No one blinked. The entire press room held its breath. Shen Yue turned to him. And just barely, she nodded. The cameras captured it. The fans rewound it. Over and over again. No one knows what that nod meant. Forgiveness. Farewell. Or something more. But one thing was clear. Whatever happened between them had left a scar that neither of them could hide anymore. And behind the glamour, behind the scripts and spotlights, two hearts were breaking in real time. One on camera. One off. The world was watching. And for once, even the stars could not pretend everything was fine.